My name is Richard, and for most of my life, I believed nothing could hurt more than saying goodbye to someone you considered family. I was wrong. My daughter-in-law, Emily, had been married to my son Daniel for nearly 12 years. She was thoughtful, generous, and one of the few people who always treated me with genuine kindness. When she lost her battle with a long illness, our entire family gathered to mourn her passing. At least, that's what I thought we were there to do. The morning of the funeral started with a shock I couldn't ignore. Guests were arriving at the chapel when I noticed Daniel walking through the entrance. Beside him was a younger woman dressed entirely in black. At first, I assumed she was a colleague or a distant friend offering support. Then I saw them holding hands, not casually, not briefly. Their fingers were locked together, as if they belonged to each other. My chest tightened. Emily had only been gone a few days, yet my son seemed more focused on comforting another woman than grieving his wife. I approached him quietly and asked what was going on. Before I could say much, Daniel leaned toward me and spoke through clenched teeth. "Sit down, Dad. Don't start anything today." The coldness in his voice caught me off guard. He insisted everyone already knew about the woman and claimed Emily would have wanted peace during the service. I wanted to argue. I wanted answers. Instead, I returned to my seat. The funeral wasn't the place for a family fight. The ceremony began. Friends, relatives, and coworkers shared stories about Emily's life. They talked about her compassion, her humor, and the way she always put others before herself. Many people cried, yet every time I looked toward Daniel, I noticed him exchanging glances with the woman beside him. Other guests noticed it too. The mood inside the chapel slowly shifted from grief to discomfort. Something felt deeply wrong. Halfway through the service, the funeral director stepped onto the stage and announced that Emily had left behind a recorded message. According to her instructions, it was to be played during the ceremony. The room immediately fell silent. For the first time that day, I saw Daniel look uneasy. A large screen lowered behind the altar, and Emily appeared. She smiled warmly as she thanked friends and family for supporting her through the hardest years of her life. She shared memories, expressed gratitude, and spoke with the same kindness everyone remembered. People listened through tears. Then her expression changed. Her voice became serious. Emily explained that if the video was being shown, she was no longer here to speak for herself. Because of that, she wanted to reveal something she had kept private. Every person in the chapel froze. She told us that during the final year of her illness, she discovered her husband had been living a double life. At first, she ignored suspicious signs, strange messages, unexpected absences, excuses that never quite made sense. She wanted to trust Daniel, but eventually the evidence became impossible to deny. Then came the moment nobody expected. The screen switched from her video to a series of photographs, screenshots, receipts, and dates, one after another. Each item connected to the same story. Each item pointed toward the same two people: Daniel and the woman sitting beside him. Gasps spread throughout the room. Several relatives turned in their seats to stare directly at them. Others simply sat in stunned silence. I looked at my son and watched the color disappear from his face. Emily's voice returned. She explained that betrayal hurts most when it comes from the person you trusted completely. She admitted the discovery had broken her heart, but she refused to spend her final months consumed by bitterness. Instead, she wanted the truth known. Not for revenge, for honesty. She wanted people to understand what she had endured while continuing to show kindness to everyone around her. The dignity in her voice made Daniel's actions seem even worse. Whispers filled the chapel. Some guests shook their heads. Others looked away in disgust. The woman beside Daniel stared at the floor. Daniel suddenly stood up as if he intended to leave, but the video continued. Nobody moved. Nobody wanted to miss a single word as the recording. And Emily delivered one final message. Looking directly into the camera, she said that a person's true character is revealed when they believe no one is paying attention. She hoped those who had hurt her would one day understand the consequences of their choices. Then she encouraged everyone else to value loyalty, honesty, and family because those things mattered far more than appearances. A few moments later, the screen went dark. The chapel became completely silent. No music, no conversation, nothing. It felt as though time had stopped. Then Daniel rushed toward the exit. The woman followed close behind. People stepped aside as they hurried from the building. Some family members were furious. Others looked heartbroken. I remained seated, staring at the blank screen. Even after everything she had suffered, Emily had handled the truth with grace. She never shouted. She never insulted anyone. She simply let the facts speak for themselves. The aftermath was immediate. Within days, Daniel's carefully hidden secret became public knowledge. Friends distanced themselves. Relatives demanded explanations. Relationships that had taken years to build began falling apart. Meanwhile, Emily was remembered for something entirely different. People spoke about her courage, her strength, her dignity. She was no longer seen as someone who had been betrayed. She was remembered as someone who faced betrayal with remarkable composure. Years have passed since that day. I still visit her grave from time to time. And whenever I do, I think about the lesson she left behind. My son didn't just lose his reputation. He lost the trust of the people who cared about him most. Emily understood something many people forget. The truth can be delayed, hidden, and denied, but sooner or later it finds its way into the open. Daniel believed the secret would be buried forever. Instead, the voice he thought had been silenced became the one that exposed everything.